Hello, Beta Alpha Psi. My name is Laura, and I'm your assistant treasurer. Thanks for clicking on this lesson today. This is a time of huge uncertainty and anxiety for many, but your officer team is working incredibly hard to make sure your hours are taken care of and that we're still learning professional skills vital to our journeys. Today's topic is on navigating an interview. We'll cover what to do, what not to do, dress codes, negotiations, and so on. First, let's talk about what to do before your interview. You should research the company you've applied for. Know some basics. What types of clients does the company serve? What industries are the company involved in? What kind of market power does the company enjoy? What kind of culture and daily lifestyle does the company portray? In addition to knowing the company, you should know yourself. If you're an accounting major, do you want to go public or private? Tax or audit? Where do you want to work and why? If it's a finance company, what banks does the company work with? IT company? What software do they use, etc. Also, think about what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. How can you talk about your weaknesses in a positive light? For example, one of my greatest weaknesses is that I'm a very quiet person by nature, and I don't always speak up. But what this means is that I'm great at listening to others, and I'm emotionally intelligent. In addition, prepare answers to the most common interview questions. Every interview will start with some version of tell me about yourself. So have an answer for this. Don't rehearse it to the point of being robotic, but have a response so you are confident and ready to go right from the start. We'll talk more at the end about nailing this answer and starting off your interview strong. At the end of every interview, the recruiter will ask you if you have any questions. The answer is always, yes, I have questions. You should prepare beforehand at least 3 questions. Don't be afraid to write these down and take it in with you. That shows preparedness. If you come up with questions during the interview that are more important, those are also great. And after asking your questions about the company, lifestyle, etc., ask the employer a question. For example, what does your daily routine look like around the office? What do you love most about working here? How have you progressed throughout the firm, and what's your advice for a new intern? What's the travel situation been like with the firm? Next, what to wear. The ladies have lots of options, but it all comes back to clean, conservative, and polished. A fitted blazer, pants, and a collared shirt work just fine. A skirt, blazer, and blouse also. Or a conservative dress with blazer. Don't wear any flashy jewelry or distracting accessories. Your hair should be neatly done, and your makeup should be conservative and minimal. This is not the time to experience with the new eyeshadow palette you just got. What to wear for the men. Guys should wear a suit and tie. Make sure the suit fits you correctly, that it isn't slouchy, wrinkly, or otherwise ill-fitting. Don't wear a cologne that is overpowering. Make sure your hair isn't going in 10 different directions. Overall, just be clean, conservative, and confident. You want to dress your best for the interview regardless of the day-to-day culture. Even if their normal dress is business casual, business professional is always a good choice for the interview day. Did you know that the color you wear often has psychological effects on the interviewer? Color psychology is real, people. Black is sophisticated, but sometimes can be an unapproachable color. Blue tends to show you as a team player. Studies show that people who wear blue at interviews tend to be hired more often. Correlation or causation. Gray is a lonely color, but can highlight your independence and capability to think for yourself. White is organized, but could come off as dull or lacking confidence. Be careful with white, though, because it's definitely not a good look to have a post-lunch stain on your blouse. Wearing red is a power move, but can come off as arrogant. Other fun colors, blue, yellow, purple, green, etc., show that you're a creative mind, but are probably not appropriate for a finance, accounting, infosystems interview. Moral of the story, wear something nice, neutral, or muted, and be confident. Now we're going to shift to the interview itself, what to do and what to avoid. Now, before we get into what to do at an interview, attached in the description is a video that I personally found rather amusing about an interview that didn't exactly work out. Please go and watch this video. Now, on a more serious note, here are some generally accepted interview tips on behaviors, actions, etc. worth avoiding. Don't be late to your interview. Don't be clueless about the job you're applying for. Don't be boring, depressing, or unenthusiastic about the opportunity in front of you. Don't wear something inappropriate. Make rude or arrogant remarks, slouch, look at your phone, or otherwise be inappropriate during the interview. The hiring manager should have your full enthusiastic attention. And what about to do during an interview? We already touched on this, but do your research. Dress for the job you want and let your look portray confidence and professionalism. Use the STAR method to answer those tricky behavioral interview questions. More on this in a little bit. And it's the little things that count. Arrive to your interview 10 to 15 minutes early, take a breather, relax, and get comfortable in the interview space. Finally, be respectful to the hiring manager. After all, they're the ones who get to decide if you get the job. Alright, I just mentioned the STAR method on the last slide. This method works best on behavioral interview questions. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. It's essentially a behavioral interview answer formula to ensure the best results for your interview day. Now, the first step in the STAR method is actually a silent P, prepare. Listen carefully to what the interviewer is asking and think of a specific event that coincides with the question. Don't be afraid to take some time to think. You don't have to word vomit as soon as the interviewer stops talking. Next, the situation. Describe the situation you were in. Who, what, when, where. Then, what was the task that you had to complete? Next is the action. What specific steps did you take to ensure the task was completed? Finally, the result. What was the result of your efforts? Did it succeed? Fail? Did you get an A on the project? Etc. Now, this video in the description that you should watch now isn't really a behavioral question that Miss South Carolina attempts to answer, but I remember being shown this video several years ago and I've never forgotten it. So don't be Miss South Carolina. Remember the formula to answer hard questions. Here we walk through an example of a behavioral interview question and two answers to it. The question is, tell me about a time when you had to work in a team. Think of your own answer to this. What situations have you been in that have required teamwork? And think of what the hiring manager wants to get out of your answer. Are you a team player? Are you more of a leader or a follower? Are you productive and engaged or lazy and lacking? Let's start with the non-STAR method answer first. I work in lots of teams all the time in and out of classes. I'm always the leader and do my best to make sure everyone is involved. Teams are hard, but my groups always find a way to make it work. This answer sounds rushed, doesn't give any specifics to prove you actually understand teamwork, and makes you sound a little arrogant. This is an unprepared answer that doesn't tell the recruiter anything. Now, what about the STAR method answer? Last summer, in my online marketing class, we were assigned teams of 4 to complete a case study relevant to the course. The challenge was that this class was entirely online, and my role immediately became the communicator. I ensured each person was involved and set up online meeting times. I set up a group text, made a shared folder, and sent reminders to get work done. Collaborating remotely was a challenge, but my leadership and ability to bring people together got the job done. We got an A. Here, I defined the situation, online marketing class group project, explained the task as a communication liaison, talked specifically about what I did to help the team, set up online meeting times, group text, shared folder, etc. And I highlighted the results, bringing people together, getting an A. This is a much more specific answer that shows the recruiter that I'm a natural leader, I take initiative, I can communicate, and my work is done well. One more thing before we leave the interview portion of this workshop, I mentioned earlier that the first guaranteed question that you're going to get is tell me about yourself, walk me through your resume, or some other icebreaker to get the conversation started. How do you answer this question successfully? This video, and a link in the description, does a great job of giving tips on exactly what this question is asking for and isn't asking for. Alright, so now that we've covered some interview basics, the next topic we're going to talk about today is negotiation. Salary negotiation is something that most people will never do in their careers, but should. Now, as incoming interns and with entry-level positions, you aren't going to get much of a say in what your salary should be. Negotiating at this time isn't appropriate. Let me repeat that again. Negotiating at this time is not appropriate. But when you look towards promotions or other job opportunities within the same industry, you should be prepared to look more closely at your compensation package. Did you know that salary negotiations can often contribute to the wage gap? Multiple studies show that only about 15 to 20% of women ask for raises or negotiate compensation at the job offer. Men, on the other hand, are much more likely to negotiate and win. Here's a quick video, link in the description, from Kate Luzio, CEO of Luminary NYC, giving advice for women negotiating salaries. When you find yourself in the position to negotiate salary, there are some steps you should follow. The first thing you should do, as with interviews and in life, prepare. Know your value. Research rates for your position in the industry you're in. Know the regional rates and the cost of living structure. Organize your research. Make sure you're ready. Have your responsibilities increased? How long have you been with the company? How long have you been in the industry itself? Do you deserve a raise? Make a brag sheet. This is basically a resume with all of your accomplishments, responsibilities, and duties. Finally, rehearse what you want to say. You don't want to walk into your boss's office with no idea how you're going to make your case for a higher salary. The next step to a successful negotiation is to start the conversation. It may sound kind of silly, but drink some coffee and get into a good mood with some energy. Pep in your step and caffeine-enthused enthusiasm will help you relax and not stress nearly as much. Walk in the room with confidence. Your boss is not going to give you a raise if you appear timid, shy, or anxious. Even if you are those things, fake it till you make it. Ask questions. Start your negotiation conversation by running some quick diagnostics. This will show where your boss is coming from, what their priorities are, etc. Show off your brag sheet. Start listing your increased responsibilities and accomplishments. Focus on the future, not the past. If you're negotiating for a new job and the company is able to ask you what your current salary looks like, don't lie. Give the current figure, but then explain how you're going to grow, your market value, and your new skills or responsibilities. Finally, be positive, not pushy. Don't push your boss for something they aren't looking to do, and always be positive and upbeat. Make the ask. What do you want from this negotiation? Put your number out first. You want to anchor the negotiation. This number will guide the rest of the conversation. Ask for more than what you want. Why? This is a psychology trick. The boss will feel better negotiating down from your starting point, and you'll be happy getting a lower value. Don't set up a range. Don't give ballpark numbers like, I'll take between 60 and 80,000. This suggests concession and you'll always end up on the low side. Be kind but firm. Assertion is vital. Don't be pushed over, but be nice. Focus on market value. What are other companies paying people like you? Finally, a no is just part of the process. It's not a statement on how you're doing, so don't take it personally. Rather, realize that it isn't a negotiation until someone says no. Finally, get your answer. Ask questions. Open-ended questions get the conversation flowing and can move your boss in the right direction. Don't be afraid to counter. If you wanted 65,000 and they come back with 55,000, you should counter with 60,000. Don't give up right away, but be sure to keep that brag sheet in the back of your mind. And finally, keep negotiating. This is a complicated topic, and there's tons of research on it. But the more you do it, the easier it will be. You've got this. Alright guys, thank you for listening to our presentation, and we hope you've gained something of value. Our officer team is working hard to provide professional and community service topics. So if you have any questions, please email bap.alphaiota@gmail.com and one of us will get back to you. Now, please find the link in the weekly email associated with this video. It is a 10-question quiz and will prove you did the assignment. This counts as one professional hour. Thank you.